Welcome, everyone, to this edition of On Paper with Keath, because on paper, everything is supposed to work out, but we all know that's not the case. This edition is going to be our Ryder Cup preview special. I'm going to have a special guest here with me, as you can see below. And I want to say, first of all, this Ryder Cup special is brought to you by Run and Try. And speaking of Run and Try, I'm joined with Aaron Freesmeier of Run and Try. So, Aaron, say hello to everybody.
What's up, everybody, and what's up, Keith? Happy to be here.
Right. Yeah, man, let's get to it. I was thinking about doing this, and I'm like, hey, Freeze will be perfect for it. So, but anyway, so let's kind of get right into it. Freeze, why don't you go ahead and what's one storyline you're looking at for this weekend?
Man, after reading some things online between, just what you can find on Google, what you can find on Twitter, what you can find on social medias, one thing I'm excited about is the age presence of this matchup. You got Team USA that's averaging 30.3 years old. You got Team Europe, which is averaging 30.1 years old. You got 4 rookies on each team. I feel like this year is a big opportunity for some young guns to shine, because there's definitely some names missing from, previous years. You got guys like Keegan. Obviously there's no Tiger, but when you think Ryder Cup history, you think about guys like Tiger, you think about guys like Phil. I know none of us like Phil. Some of us do, but when you look at some of the missing names and other guys too, even on Europe, like Poulter, Garcia was even trying to, I think, pay a fine to get himself into the Ryder Cup. Guys like Lee Westwood, all those missing names and all these names that we've seen before on both teams, plus some new guys. The age gap is not far between both teams, and they are all young. And I think it's time for one of these two teams to shine, baby.
That's kind of been the storyline a lot with the PGA Tour in the last year or two, is you're seeing a lot of younger people, new names coming out. And yeah, I like that. It's good to see them on the squad. My storyline for the weekend is it has now officially been 30 years since we have won a Ryder Cup in Europe. And that last time was at the Belfry, just northwest of Birmingham. Really cool complex there. There was, I'll never forget, seeing all these highlights when Seve drove the 10th green. Not a very complicated hole, but had fairway straight ahead. Green was kind of tucked around to the right behind a creek and a tree blocking it, and Seve just landed it on, put it to about 15 feet, and made the eagle. So that was a real memorable moment. But yeah, my storyline is 30 years later, can Team USA pull this off in Italy? And speaking of Italy, so Freeze, why don't we go ahead and just for people who are new here, people who don't watch golf but might want to get into this tournament, what is the Ryder Cup, and tell us where it is being played this year?
Yeah, this year the Ryder Cup is being played at Marco Simone Country Club. I think it's Golf and Country Club officially, but it's in Italy, built in 1980. That's right. I'm on the Montucky, but yeah, so it was built in 1989. From what I was catching up with online, trying to prep myself for this tournament and get ready to watch it, apparently when it was first built, it really wasn't that prestige of a golf course. As the years went on, more investors started to come along. In fact, I think it's a Tom Fazio course. I want to say, I can't remember who made the original investment to really help bring him up to par, but they started playing some European Tour events over there. It started to get more and more well known, and when the bidding came around in 2015, the bid was right for this course, and it's a good course, man. It's not long. I'll be excited to see how much they extend it to the tips to make it longer, because on paper it's got all reachable par 5s around 500, 502 yards. From what I could see on the scorecard, it had at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 holes that were par 4s that are very drivable with the tour average and the length that these guys can hit the golf ball. As for the Ryder Cup itself, it's a biannual event. We see it every 2 years. Only World War II and COVID have been the only 2 times that we haven't seen the World Cup, haven't seen the Ryder Cup come through just because of those events. One cool thing is there's no prize money, man. These guys make a lot of money on tour all year long, and this is their chance to shine for their country, for their team. it becomes less of an individual event, despite Sunday individual matches. It becomes more of that team event to really show up, show out, show pride, and do their thing, man. 44 years strong on this event, so it's been a long time running.
That's awesome. I did see something when you're talking about going online. I don't know if it was Sky Sports or someone was reporting that everyone, when you watch this tournament, you'll notice a very predominant castle right in the middle of the golf course. And that castle actually once belonged to Galileo Galilei. So talk about a lot of history there. I mean, it's Rome. You know, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And this past week, pretty much every couple hours, because I'm thinking about the Ryder Cup. So
yeah, they say it's very centralized, like, you know, like only a couple miles outside of Rome. So I was even reading where I think both the team, like hotels or wherever they're staying, are very centralized to the city. Not a lot of travel to and from the golf course. That's gonna be the same for the fans too. So I'm hoping the USA fans show up, show out. We'll see.
all right. I'm looking at this now. So let's go into the schedule. Right. So you've got Friday and Saturday, September 29th and 30th. You got foursomes and four ball. 36 holes will be played. Not everyone plays 36 because you're allowed to change your roster, but please just tell people what's a foursome and what's a four ball.
Yeah, so four ball is where we start Friday morning. That's where everybody plays their own ball. We take the lowest score. So if it was me and you versus two other guys, if I shot a 5 and you shot a 4, we take your 4 down on the scorecard. You know, it's always match play. Every single match is for one single point. The worst you could do would be lose. The best you could do would be win. A nice in between is that half point, and that's only if the match comes down to the final hole and everything's tied.
All right. Then we'll go into Sunday, October 1st. It'll be 12 singles matches. Now, this is where everybody plays.
We have foursomes too. Foursomes.
We have foursomes on. Oh, that's right. We do. Yeah.
Saturday. Yep.
You know, that's what I was saying. Saturday and Sunday. Or that's what I mentioned earlier. Friday and Saturday is the foursomes and four ball. So what's the foursome?
Yeah. So foursome is basically, as some people know, best ball, or I'm sorry, as some people know, is alternate shot. So if I'm player 1 and you're player 2, we decide on the first tee who tees off on the odd holes, who tees off on the even holes. We always follow that, but we hit alternate shots all the way until we hole out or until a putt is conceded. But you would never carry over to the next hole playing not as the odd partner or as the even partner off the tee. Okay. So alternate shot. One thing to keep in mind too, for people who maybe haven't seen the Ryder Cup before, you're going to see guys picking up putts. You're going to see guys not hitting shots. Something to look into, whether your own research or right now, is concessions. At any point during a match, the opponent can tell their who they're playing against, pick up the ball. You know, it's good. You'll see 2-footers and 3-footers be conceded. You'll see guys not finish a hole because they're playing bad and they know they're not going to win. So, yep. Foursomes is alternate shot, baby.
It's one of the fun things about this tournament. It's just different golf than what we see every weekend. But yeah, Sunday then is the singles matches where everybody plays and it's a one-on-one, right?
Correct. 1 second. I got a helicopter coming over top here.
Coast Guard. It's that time of night.
Yeah. I live on a direct line to the airport, so.
All good. You can barely hear you.
All right, so singles matches, like you said, everybody plays. This is the chance not only for the guys who haven't played Friday and Saturday to shine, it's also the chance for us to see some of the big matchups, because historically early on, both teams want to earn those points and not have to rely on the guys coming in. It's also a chance for upsets. We've seen those in the past. But singles is just that. Man versus man. Best score wins. Everything's match play. So your ultimate goal is to at least win 17 out of the 18 holes. And if it comes down to the 18th, you hope you win the last.
Very nice. We'll go on then to the team selection. So, Freeze, why don't you take through who is on Team USA and how do they decide the teams?
All right. So Team USA made up of 12 guys. Six guys are selected by Zach Johnson, our team captain. The other six guys, they earn their way into the tournament. And I believe it's from the second FedEx Cup tournament of 2022 all the way through the BMW Championship. So it's a points thing. It runs that way. Six guys always make it in. Historically, it's the next six guys in line that kind of have a chance to make it on the team, but ultimately it's up to Zach Johnson or whoever the captain is for the year to make those picks. This year we got Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler, Koepka, Morikawa, Spieth, and Justin Thomas. Those were the captain picks. We had Cantley, Clark, Homa, Harmon, Scheffler, and Xander, who were the guys who made it in top six. There's some controversy behind the captain's picks. There always is, but that's part of the excitement of the Ryder Cup. So also, right. I do want to give a shout out to Illinois. We also have a co-captain of Steve Stricker.
Absolutely. Always. All right. So I'm going to go into Team Europe. A little bit different selection process. So unlike the US, where it's top six in points, top six captains picks, Europe still keeps six captain picks. But since it's a much broader range with many different areas and countries to cover, they take the top three players in the European points list. And then after that, it's the top three in the world points list. So a couple different tournaments and things like that going on. And again, six captains picks. So this year, qualifying for Team Europe was Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Robert McIntyre, Victor Hovland, Tyrrell Hatton, and Matty Fitzpatrick. If only name in there that people may not know who watch the PGA Tour regularly is Robert McIntyre. He's Scottish born. He is currently 12th in the DP rankings. So that's how he got his credit there. And then our captain's picks were, get into that in a minute because there are some surprises there. But our guys were Ludwig Aberg, Tommy Fleetwood, Nikolai Højgaard, Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, and Sepp Straka. So interesting on Europe. And again, Europe versus USA, it's always two different styles of play. Europe is built for match play. So some of these names you may not know, but just remember they've been playing this match play format for a long, long time, and it can be interesting. It's a whole different mindset over there. But Freeze, who got snubbed on Team USA that you're kind of scratching your head on?
Man, for me, on a personal level, I'm going Keegan Bradley, man. I really wanted to see him on the team. He's just full of fire. I think he's gotten better over the past few years. He's been on Ryder Cup teams before. I felt like he was close. He had a strong finish to the season this year. I know a lot of people were hard up on Lucas Glover because he went back-to-back on a couple PGA tournaments right there at the end of the year, but I felt like that also might have been a peaking moment for him. Others talk about DJ and others talk about Bryson DeChambeau. I'm not hating that they're not on our team. They were kind of irrelevant to the PGA Tour this year. I'm not a hater of LIV in a full sense, but I can see where some controversy was there when it comes down to the captain's picks. But yeah, my biggest one was probably Keegan. And then let's be real, Cam Young had a heck of a year. He was right there off the cusp of, I want to say it was like 8th or 9th in the standings. He had a shot, but I'm also not upset with what Zach Johnson picked and where our team stands.
All right. And for me on Europe, one thing I'm really surprised about is Ian Poulter. Now, he has, same thing with Freeze here. It's LIV Golf. Some players really didn't do much to mend their relations with their respective tours. But at the same time, Ian Poulter is always up for match play. No matter where he is in the world rankings, he was always a legend on that team, knew how to play a match, knew how to approach a match. So I was kind of shocked by that. But there's a couple names. Lee Westwood. I mean, he is nonstop, every major you see him in somehow backdoors his way into a top 5 finish. You never see him on top of the leaderboard, but somehow he always works his way up there. Again, built for match play. So other than that, Sergio Garcia, he really planted his flag. He really wanted to be there, but again, not hating on that, or Paul Casey missing the cut there. So either way, let's get on to your captain's picks for the USA. What'd you think about that?
I like them, man. One thing I had a little time to research was we have 21st, 25th, 19th, 12th, and 26th official world golf ranking on all 6 of those guys. Now, obviously, in the guys who make it by points, I'm sorry, I got another plane coming over.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, so we're gonna have those guys on the team already that made it by points. They deserve to be there. And I mean, we've got 2 of the top guys in the world on Team USA. We got 2 major winners this year on Team USA. It's a very dominant top 6 that belonged there. The other 6, they're almost middle range guys. If you take away Spieth is 12th. Everybody else is outside the top 20. Top 20 in official world golf rankings is strong. Top 30 is still strong. I mean, we're talking about some of the best of the best. So to kind of revert back on the snubs, I can see why other guys thought they deserved to be there, but to have guys like Ricky Fowler who finished strong, and not only finished strong, but came from like 150th in world golf rankings to 25th in a year. Guys like Sam Burns, who showed up, played well in almost every tournament. I think he only missed like 4 cuts. Colin Morikawa, who we've seen him win majors, we've seen him win multiple golf tournaments, and then you got people like Spieth and JT. And I know some people were hating on the whole fact of, oh, Ricky made it, or Ricky was selected, so you got to take Spieth and JT because they're this whole trio. But they've been there. They bring team camaraderie. They bring that youth that I spoke about here in the opening part of this podcast. Like, those are guys that we expect, or at least I personally expect, to see them on the team in the future, continuing to grow up into their 40s, up until they maybe become a captain one day. So strong picks, in my opinion. Not mad at it. Happy for it and ready to root for them.
Mm-hmm. On that same topic, as you were mentioning earlier, so on my side here, on the European side, you've got their average world ranking is 29.25. So if you were you were 12.92, so it's 13 versus 29 if we just go simple rounding. Definitely USA has a lot of the top 10 guys, but I think a lot of this Team Europe is composed of that next solid group, and everyone's kind of right there. I don't think you have quite as many disparities in distance between world rankings, maybe unless you go between someone like John Rahm and Ludwig Adberg, who looks like he is currently 57th on the DP Tour rankings right now.
He has an amazing story, though.
Really, it was fun looking into him. That's one thing I kind of got to dig into. But as far as our captain's picks, Tommy Fleetwood, just Shane Lowry, Justin Rose, Sepp Straka, couple major championship winners on there. Tommy Fleetwood, you can't have, if we'll get into Brooks's haircut, but we need someone out there with some flowing locks to compete with him. I'm really excited to see Rosie get one more go at it. Rose is always a fun guy to follow on Twitter. And Shane Lowry, there's your camaraderie guy right there, that big old bundle of joy. And and Sepp Straka, just experienced players, a lot of guys who can guide the rookies through. As you mentioned earlier, we both have 4 rookies on each squad. And we're looking at the average age. You're 30.3, I'm 30.1. You've got 6 top 10 players. We've got 4. So all in all, this should be a fairly competitive tournament. And also uncompetitive, we should also point out that it's only been twice in history of the Ryder Cup that the tournament has ended in a draw, which was 69 and 89. That would mean we retain the cup, which is fantastic, but nothing really comes out of the wash there as who actually played better.
I do have a bet on the tie. I placed it like 2 months ago.
I saw that it was. We'll get into a couple numbers. I saw it's currently at plus 1,000.
Yeah, that's
Where'd
what I
you get
took.
it at?
Plus 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I
don't
think
think they're gonna move.
just left that line. It's not going to move anywhere.
It's great. It's I was looking at that the other day. I'm thinking like, I might just be worth $5. It's been, you know,
Yeah,
why,
build up some gas money.
$5, get a little bit of a bank there so I can lose it all on some stupid parlay I'm gonna place over the weekend. But moving on. So let's talk about some fun things in this right now. The team is always dressed in their own appropriate uniforms. These are awful.
They're bad.
These are bad. Looking at the travel wear wasn't too shabby when you saw them all getting off the plane, but the daily routine stuff, it's worse than some of the United States soccer kits that have come out recently. It's just bad. What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. When I was looking at them, I guess through Twitter, and then I actually went to the Polo website and looked at them. It's the horizontal stripes, man. I'm not sure how long horizontal stripes have been out. I'm 40 years old. I'm not sure if I have a horizontal stripe in my closet, man.
I mean,
Uh,
and the thickness of that too is just makes it even worse.
yeah, doesn't line up with the belt, doesn't line up with the colorways of the pants. Kind of disappointed, man. We got to have a little swag for Team USA. So
It's our
not
own
happy
bomb
about.
pop jersey.
I felt like one thing they could have done, especially being in Europe. I looked up from the last time we won 30 years ago the kits that Team USA had, and they had these giant Ryder Cups on like all their sweater vests and like these real large Ryder Cups, like top left. I mean, what's Polo known for? A giant horse on their shirts. They could have put those giant Ryder Cups. I'd have taken that ugly look from 30 years ago way more than what.
Absolutely. I mean, that god awful shirt we wore with paintings of
Oh yeah,
golfers on it is still better than this. And it's probably, and if we win, maybe this shirt will go down in history and be popular. But other than that, it's just
well,
bad. It's so bad that Jordan Spieth's wife didn't even want to go on the trip with him because she didn't want to see him dressed like that. I'm convinced of it.
I will say
So
the sweater vest, or I don't know if it was a sweater vest or a pullover that has their names on the back. I think that was a strong move, but other than that,
all right. So does this now, since this is the first time back in Europe since 2018 because we had the COVID break, do Europeans are probably craving for this, but will it be much of a home field advantage, you think?
part of the reason I mean, it will be. It has to be. There's going to be more Europeans and people from other continents watching than the U.S. when it comes to being on that golf course. But Rome and Italy are very popular places for travel. It's a good time of the year to vacation. Weather over there is going to be good. In fact, I looked at the weather report. No rain, so that's an advantage to the U.S. outside of being a home field advantage. That might even give us a little bit of advantage. A lot of those European guys are really good at playing in strong winds, heavy rain, cold weather. We're looking at a sunny and 82 type of scenario for all 3 days. Outside of that, I feel like Team USA, when it comes to any sporting event, we've seen it in World Cup, we've seen it in Olympics, we've seen it in basketball. USA knows how to travel, and a lot of USA people also live and work overseas. So I'm hoping they show up and show out and get the job done for US. But at the end of the day, it is their turf, and I know I would feel more confident as a European than I would as an American if I was living over there. So
There'll be some fun. The Europeans always do make the crowd entertaining as well, not just so much our American ways of doing stuff when we have fun in the crowd, but you'll get a little more almost like a football vibe coming out of there, and that's always entertaining to watch. And every now and then they'll come up with something good and make the players kind of break character and just have a good old laugh. But looking on my podcast we like to do here, it's called On Paper. So looking at this on paper, who do you see as boom, and a bust? And who do you see looking at these teams? Do you think has the best unity?
Oh,
It froze up for a moment, bud.
sorry, cut up a little bit here.
You're good.
Yep. Keith, still there?
I'm still here. Your video is kind of frozen.
Yeah.
So we're back. Sorry, quick Wi-Fi interruption there, but Freeze, go on with your boom or bust. Go ahead.
Man, I'm expecting a big boom outside of some of the hate that might be there from from Kepka. I'm also expecting a big boom from Colin Morikawa, and I'm expecting a big boom from Ricky Fowler. All guys that are trending up towards the end of the year. I hate to say it because I bet on the guy all year long, and I don't want to see it happen. But my bust is going to be Max Homa. He
All right.
played well in the beginning of the year, had lots of chances, had a strong year, but maybe not enough, I guess, for me, confidence in the game to shine at the Ryder Cup. So we'll see.
Well, I'm gonna go with my boom. I'm literally gonna mean boom because if this court sets up like it looks on paper, it's gonna be a long bomb paradise. Just hit it as far as you can. Worry about the rest from there. And you got McIlroy and Rombo right at the top there. They're going to be dropping it. You got a lot of guys who are big hitters on this team, just like the USA. But my bust, I'm going to go ahead and make my bust the same as a boom. And I'm going with Jon Rahm. I am going to be probably proven incredibly wrong, but there's no consistency with him. He's happy, he's chill, but is he too nice for the Ryder Cup? I don't need him to be a jerk like Patrick Reed, but at least give me some kind of emotion out there.
He also doesn't have the chance to make a comeback. A lot of I think how many times he was right on the cut line and then he finishes like fifth or sixth.
Yeah, it just he gets close and then just falls off. So I'm gonna go with McIlroy and Rahm as my booms, but Rahm also is a bust. Now, team unity, I think we've got a couple more veterans, couple more just guys who are more accommodated to this. So Europe's going to be all together, and they want it back so bad. To win this thing for them means more than it does to the USA. USA, I think, just likes to win it, just to win it and say we're better than you. But Europe, they take this personally over there. So back on home soil, I'm going with the Europeans with a better team unity.
I'm going to give unity to Europe as well, especially after a lot of these guys being returning members after getting dominated 2 years ago, that 19-9 loss at Whistling Straits. Unity goes towards Team Europe. Better social media presence goes towards Team USA.
All right. So finally, if you're making a bet today, USA was minus 135. Europe was minus 125. They made a big push in the line change. If you had to put money down on one or another to win, who you got?
Even though I've already bet on the tie, I'm still rolling with Team USA.
Okay. I was going to say I go with Team Europe. I think they want that domination. I think they want it back. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me and Freesmeier here. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for Run and Try for sponsoring us. Aaron, tell us where we can find you. Anything going on at the store?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got a bug truck coming by right now, but yeah, I own Run and Try Mobile. It's over in Piccadilly Square here in Mobile, Alabama. It's right next to the Buffalo Wild Wings, one of those hot spots you can watch all the sports you need to.
Nice.
Great place to pick up shoes, running shoes, inserts. We even sell socks. I promise I can find something for your golf game there outside of being a running store. So come see me.
Awesome. And remember everyone to like, follow, subscribe to the Unblocked Podcast Network, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you got any questions, Freeze and I will be back together. We'll do a recap show, figure out how wrong we were about so many things. But questions, comments, feel free to drop them here. And if you want to promote your business or you have an event you want to be mentioned on the Unblocked Podcast Network, email us at unblockedpod.com. So for Aaron of Run and Try, I'm Keith. Thanks for watching.